Welcome to week 9 of the This Week in Film podcast, the world's most important podcast about movies to date.
Oh, man.
I'm Nick Panotto, joined as always by Charlie Chester, and for the first time as a contributing host to the show, Keith Seddon.
Yeah.
What's up, Keith? Glad to have you.
I'm Tony.
Keith, you were on the show previously talking about how George Clooney was your favorite Batman.
Uh-huh. That was fun. That happened.
We enjoyed it enough to invite you back.
Thank you.
You really
that's something.
You cut your teeth on that, and now that Tony has abandoned us, it's time to move on.
Guys, this is great. I like movies.
Keith, what movie did you watch this week?
I watched the 2004 Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst.
Okay.
And it's called?
The Amazing... Wait. Isn't it just Spider-Man?
Spider-Man -2. I don't know. I can't remember.
Spider-Man 2.
No. This is Spider-Man 2, 2004, by a director called Sam Raimi.
Is this one of your favorite movies? Did you dig it? Like, what's the deal?
Well, first, I have to say that the original Spider-Man, that is one of my favorite movies.
Fly!
Right.
And I went back, decided it was time to try the second one out again, and the second one's probably better than the first one.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know how you guys feel about that.
It's leaps and bounds above the first one, and the first one's a good movie.
In fact, actually, the first movie, I rate all movies whether it's better or worse than Spider-Man 1. So this movie was better than Spider-Man 1.
Wait, you rank all movies?
Yeah. If I go to movies, is it better or worse than the first
If you
Spider-Man?
had a movie rating site like a Rotten Tomatoes,
yeah, that
would be your bottom line.
If it's on the same level as the first Spider-Man.
Like Hunt for Red October, better or worse than Spider-Man?
I'm going to say worse than Spider-Man.
It's such a simple, easy rating. I think I can get behind this rating system.
The reason I watched Spider-Man 2 was because I woke up one morning and I had a montage stuck in my head. And it's the montage where Peter Parker is the raindrops keep falling on my head. This
is when Sam Raimi started doing music videos inside the Spider-Man movies, but it worked.
Didn't work so much in Spider-Man 3.
Maybe one or two dance sequences in Spider-Man 3.
Oh, man. It was pretty hip.
Find us some shade. Thanks, out nice.
In the second one, that montage with Peter Parker not using his powers anymore because, Mary Jane has kind of crushed his heart.
He's nothing to me but an empty seat.
Is awesome. It's very goofy. He trips over his own feet. There's one point he buys a hot dog, and you hear the sirens and these police cars rushing by, and the camera slowly zooms into him. What's Spider-Man gonna do? Takes a bite from the hot dog, keeps on going. And it also ends with this awesome freeze frame. He's walking out, he got a good grade on whatever test. Freeze frame. Peter Parker's face.
That's total Sam Raimi. Back, when he was doing the Evil Dead flicks, like Bruce Campbell.
No one will be seated after the doors are closed.
It helps maintain the illusion.
Yeah.
Like that silly, goofy, whimsical. You could see that peppered in there, which is great. He was perfectly cast as the director for that series. It works so well.
Totally agree. Dr. Octopus.
Where is she? Oh, she'll be just fine. Let's talk.
Is a great bad guy.
I completely agree. And all practical effects, too. I remember I was really into that movie when it came out, and then reading about how they had puppeteers, 2 or 3 people working each arm. Mm-hmm. I love that Dr. Octopus. And that final fight sequence still holds up. If you watch it today, some of the special effects look dated, but it is very exciting and it's very fun to watch.
Wow. Definitely.
I gotta rewatch it.
So this week, I watched the movie Sorcerer. Last week, Tony was talking about William Friedkin and all his freaking facts. And I realized when Tony was talking about it that the movie Sorcerer is one I had never seen. And the reason I had never seen it is because I thought it was about a wizard.
Like a warlock?
Yeah, I thought it was about a sorcerer. And no, it's a remake of a French film called The Wages of Fear. And the plot of the movie basically...
Wait, Wages of Fear. Is that the one with the guys hauling dynamite?
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite movies. I didn't realize
that's what this movie is. It's a remake, yeah.
That's awesome.
And it's basically Roy Schneider and 3 other guys have to move some very old dynamite 200 miles up the road in these
that's
rickety
awesome.
old trucks.
Now I'm excited. I gotta
And
watch this movie.
Tangerine Dream does the soundtrack.
One of my favorite guys to do scores of all time. I want to live in a world where Tangerine Dream does my soundtrack.
So basically, I thought the movie was very entertaining, but the whole entire first 45 minutes of that movie is useless. It is a waste of time. You basically, the main characters, the 4 truck drivers, are all bad people.
Vous avez pris des risques, à vouloir supporter les conséquences. You bastard!
And they spend 45 minutes showing you that these are all terrible people. They're all criminals, and they've run away to the South American jungle to get away from their people that are hunting them down.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. I mean, that movie could have started with them getting into the trucks because there's enough character development in the trucks.
If you don't, I'm taking you and this nitro right into a ditch.
The scenes where the truck is moving, like the truck goes like 10 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's wages of fear, right? Like that's
and it's
so nerve-wracking.
They have to cross this rickety rope bridge, which is the best scene in the whole movie. They have to cross this bridge in this awful storm.
Right.
And all I could think the whole time was, just wait for the storm to end. Just wait.
There's no time for that.
Because spoiler alert, once they get across the bridge, it's sunny. It's like beautiful. It's like the most gorgeous day they've ever had. But definitely worth checking out. Charlie, closing it out again this week.
Okay, all right. Well, there's a theme for this week, kind of, I guess, because the movie I watched also had a Tangerine Dream soundtrack. It's a little movie called Thief with James Caan. This is going back, I want to say early 80s, like really early 80s, and it was produced by Michael Mann. And it's basically James Caan. His cover is that he's a car salesman, but he prowls the night as like this burglar.
Cat burglar.
He's a sexy cat burglar. He basically he's a one-man band show. I should say he has a partner, James Belushi Knowles, like a fledgling kingpin is trying to bring in some like talent. And they ask him to come on and do a couple gigs.
Alarm system diagrams, blueprints, sometimes a front door key, sometimes the scores are in on it. Everybody's ripping off the insurance company.
And of course he gets screwed over.
You get paid what I say. You do what I say. I run you. There is no discussion.
And half the movie is him pulling off this major heist, and then when he gets screwed over by them, trying to get out of it. And it's more about him using his heist skill set to get himself out of this jam. But this has been a smokescreen because the movie that I actually really want to talk about is called Mac and Me, which I spent 2 hours watching this week just to make Nick miserable.
Mac and Me?
Mac and Me is a 1980s wannabe version of E.T.
Well, that was week 9 of the This Week in Film podcast.
No, we're talking about Mac and Me.
We're talking about the. We're not
talking about Mac
We're not
and
doing
cheese.
Mac and Me. I've seen enough of that movie from Paul Rudd on Conan. Go back to Thief. Go back to Thief. We're not doing Mac and Me.
Let me just make one quick thing about Mac and Me, and then we'll move away from it. But it's such shitty budget that like these are puppets that don't have joints, and they essentially the puppeteers just make them wiggle. In Mac and Me.
No.
Yes. There's this Mars rover that accidentally picks up a family of aliens and brings them back to Earth, and they escape. And it's a traditional nuclear family of like the mom has got like a house dress and like the dad wears a business suit, and it's just ridiculous. But
those goofy rubber-looking aliens
Yeah.
are wearing dresses and suits.
As soon
I'm
as
not
they,
watching this. I don't know. I'm asking questions.
Father looks like a drunk piece of silly putty. That's the best way I can describe it.
The father alien?
Yeah, the father alien. When
He's
Nick
ugly.
watches this and he puts that clip in of the drunk alien father, that looks like drunk silly putty. You'll all appreciate it. It's so bad. But the best part about the movie is that at some point in the movie, for no good reason at all, they go to McDonald's and it becomes a 2-minute commercial for McDonald's. Everyone's dancing. Ronald McDonald's doing like flips, and Mac is dancing around in the McDonald's. It's amazing.
I don't want to watch
It's amazing.
I wanted to watch
this movie.
You can watch both. At the end of the movie, the big thing is that like this whole thing is like an allegory for like immigration. They end up being getting their green cards, like they're American citizens at the end, and it ends with them in this convertible driving, and a little bubble pops up saying at the very last moment, "We'll be back," saying to everybody, "There's going to be a sequel." Spoiler alert, no, there was no sequel because it was awful.
You're an awful person. Well, that was week 9 of the This Week in Film podcast. I really don't want to watch Mac and Me. You're a terrible person, Charlie. But that brings us to a brand new segment called Keith's Kooky Queery.
Yeah.
Keith, what's your movie-related question for this week?
All right, how about, hey guys, what's your favorite query, kooky alien movie?
Oh, because of Mac and Me.
Because Mac and Me.
I see what you're saying.
Does that work?
Yeah. But to answer last week's Tony's third degree question, what was your favorite Cosby movie, or movie in general? We had a lot of responses.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Chippy Foz on the YouTubes said he saw Ghost Dad in theaters, so I guess Ghost Dad. And Matt says Jaws. For the final Tony's third degree. That'll about wrap it up. So, Keith, where can the people find us?
Oh, right. Well, they can find you on Facebook, Twitter, SoundCloud, Stitcher, the website, of course, which is www.thisweekinfilmpodcast.com.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
YouTube, Zanga, MySpace, Facebook.
What's a Zanga?
You never had a Zanga?
Are we on Zanga?
I don't think they do that anymore.
Keith is building us a Zanga account.
Guys, this has been really awesome. Thanks for having me.
Keith,
Thanks for the blast.
Thanks for swinging by. Charlie, comic book is called
Boy Zero. Finally, the copies are coming. So next week I'll get to tell you where you're going to be able to order them.
Keith, you have anything to plug?
No.
Great.
Except thisweekinfilmpodcast.com.
Yeah, great. Thisweekinfilmpodcast.com.
Sweet.
All right. Take it easy. We'll see you next week.
Let's end it with one scene from Mac and Me. Goodbye.